So I know this is a novel concept to a lot of people in America, but here in Canada, we have something called hate speech laws, aka we don't have free speech at all. We are not allowed to say a lot of stuff. No, we can't. And on top of that, it leaves every single person that is a Canadian citizen under the jurisdiction of those laws. Even foreign travelers could be in trouble for violating our hate speech laws. So it makes you wonder, why isn't President Trudeau in jail?
I remember when I lost my mind.
Now I understand that usually politicians, they are people who are above the laws of the nations in which they govern, and they get away with a whole bunch of stuff all the time. You see it in America quite often. They just do what they want. War criminals, they violate their, I mean, pedophilia laws. And oh, that's just, you know, Anthony Weiner's not a real person. But in Canada, we pride ourselves on being the good people, on being run by just individuals and kind-hearted, empathetic beings like our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, which makes you wonder, why does he hate people so much? And not just people in general, but he hates the unvaccinated so much. So much, in fact, that he had this to say, in French, of course.
Puis on en connaît tous des gens qui sont en train d'hésiter un petit peu. On va continuer d'essayer de les convaincre. Mais il y a aussi des gens qui sont farouchement opposés à la vaccination. Qui sont extrémistes. Qui ne croient pas dans la science, qui sont souvent misogynes, souvent racistes aussi. C'est un petit groupe, mais qui prend de la place. Et là, il faut faire un choix en tant que leader, en tant que pays. Est-ce qu'on tolère ces gens-là ou est-ce qu'on dit, ben voyons, la plupart des gens, presque 80% des Québécois ont fait ce qu'il fallait faire, se sont fait vacciner, on veut revenir aux choses qu'on aime faire. C'est pas ces gens-là qui vont nous bloquer. Maintenant, on est dans...
Now, I don't even understand why Justin is even that mad at the unvaccinated people, blaming unvaccinated people for why there's still these pandemic lockdowns that are still going on right now in Canada. I'm really glad, by the way, that the gyms and the restaurants that only vaccinated people have been allowed to go to for the past 3 months are now being locked down again to prevent the spread. Now, how do you prevent the spread? I thought that was the jab's job, according to your passport program. Turns out you're wrong, and it's wrong based upon these statistics, YouTube. These statistics that I have right here. And it says 4,392 are fully vaccinated. 5, assuming all the unknown ones are the unvaccinated. It's still 25%, 25. Some might say that is a minority by quite a large margin. You hear that and you wonder, how is that not a violation of any type of hate speech laws? I mean, he is singling out a particular group of people within the country and targeting them based upon something about them that is natural. Because there's nothing more natural than being unvaccinated. It's more normal than people who get fake boobs. It's more natural than people who cut their penises off, yet we're not allowed to say anything negative about people who would do something like change their genitalia parts. That's illegal. But something completely natural, born this way, the ultimate born this way thing, Justin Trudeau gets to say that. And how is that not targeted harassment right then and there? How is that not inciting violence? I mean, he's talking about how much of a threat everyone is. And oh my God, we're filling up the hospitals. Oh, the hospitals. Probably because he heard everyone's favorite whatever propagandist, Rachel Maddow, over on MSNBC when she, he, zir, they, it, when Rachel had this to say less than a year ago.
Now we know that the vaccines work well enough that the virus stops with every vaccinated person. A vaccinated person gets exposed to the virus. The virus does not infect them. The virus cannot then use that person to go anywhere else. Now we know that the vaccines work well enough that the virus stops with every vaccinated person.
Now I know what you're saying, and YouTube's algorithms are going crazy right now because that is misinformation, and it wasn't me saying it. I was just pointing out that somebody else is out there spreading misinformation who has all this power. And by the way, so much power, in fact, that YouTube doesn't seem to care that that's misinformation because that video is still widely available for you to watch and consume on the YouTube. Now, I get it. They get to do whatever they want and we don't. But that is not necessarily true because here I am doing whatever I want and you can do it too. And it starts with holding people like Justin Trudeau accountable, which is why people have actually been reporting Justin Trudeau to the RCMP for the things that he's been saying about the unvaccinated people, because it is by definition in violation of the law. And I encourage you all to do the same. You can just, Google it or DuckDuckGo it and actually report Prime Minister Justin Trudeau for a hate crime, which is the violation of the hate speech laws. And I encourage you all to do that. I'm going to do it myself. But maybe just at the end of all this, Justin, much like Rachel, will have to apologize for the lies that they've told, for the hate that they've incited. But until then, it is our duty to continue to point out these moments, and I'll continue to do so as often as possible here on YouTube, as long as they don't ban me for the things that other people say that's misinformation, and stop banning me for quoting things like from the WHO like I've done before, which was episode 3 back when I was still counting episode 1, 2, and 3. But just, with that, there's just nothing more that I can say about old Justin. At this point, he's really saying it all. He's showing his true colors. You can even see it in his eyes in this video. Those aren't the eyes of a very good person. It's the eyes of a quite evil man. So what do we say to people like Justin Trudeau? And I'll say it to Justin Trudeau. I'll say it like I always do about Doug Ford as well. Don't think I forgot about you, fatty Dougie. Or the fact that YouTube is so unfair, and even now Twitter getting rid of Dr. Robert Malone ever since Jack, who I can't believe he was the arbiter and the protector of free speech this whole time. They've banned out there Robert Malone. You four can stick it where the sun don't shine. And I'm also on Rumble. And they're still cool for now. Thanks for checking in. Peace.
We're in what's called a mass formation psychosis. This is very important. I give credit to Dr. Matthias Desmet in the University of Ghent in Belgium, and recently Dr. Mark McDonald, psychiatrist from LA. Mark McDonald's got a new book out, The United States of Fear, describing how the mass psychosis developed. What your listeners need to know is a mass psychosis is when there is a groupthink that develops that's so strong that it leads to something horrific. And the examples are these mass suicides that occur in these religious cults. The example is Nazi Germany, when people walk into gas chambers and were gassed. These horrific things. And 4 elements here. It's very important, Joe. First, there must be a period of prolonged isolation, lockdowns. Number 2, there must be a withdrawal of things taken away from people that they used to enjoy. That's happened. Number 3, there must be constant, incessant, free-floating anxiety. All this news cycle, all the deaths and the hospitalizations, more variant mutant strains, everything, people becoming scared over and over again. The last thing, number 4, the capper. The capper is there must be a single solution offered by an entity in authority. And in this case is clear. Worldwide, the solution was vaccination.
That make me crazy. Does that